The Rune Knight is probably my favourite fighter subclass. I have loved it on tabletop since it came out. Being able to just inscribe yourself with runes that bolster your abilities is amazing. So we're going to go right. We're going to go level by level, commentary on all the items you could need now it's added as a mod to Baldur's Gate 3. So of course we start with the fighter at level 1. This will give you second wind, whereas a bonus action you can heal yourself up for a 1d10 plus 1. Strength saving throw proficiencies, constitution saving throw proficiencies, as well as proficiencies with simple weapons, martial weapons, light, medium and heavy armour, as well as shields. For your fighting style here, we are going to take defense, the +1 bonus to armour class while wearing armour. For ability points, we're going to have 16 strength, 14 dexterity, 16 constitution, 10 intelligence, 10 wisdom, and 8 charisma. For proficiencies, take whatever fits your roleplay. Fighter level 2 brings action surge, so you can immediately gain an extra action to use this turn. Fighter level 3 brings our specialisation, and for this we are the Rune Knight. So Rune Knights enhance their martial prowess using supernatural powers of runes, an ancient practice that originated with the Giants. So we gain Sleight of Hand as a proficiency. Giant's Might, so Rune Knights have learned how to imbue themselves with the might of giants. Rune Carver, you gain proficiency in Sleight of Hand and use magical runes to enhance your abilities. Inscribe Rune, so you can inscribe a rune you know. Each rune offers a passive magical benefit and unlocks a unique action. Each rune can only be used once and lasts until long rest. Giant's Might, you grow in size to become stronger. If you are smaller than large, you become large and gain advantage on ability checks and saving throws using strength. Once on each of your turns, one of your attacks with a weapon or unarmed strike will do an additional 1d10, which is just awesome. This does use a Giant's Might's charge there, as you can see. And then we gain new spells. Now these aren't actually spells, they are your runes. Now each rune will give you a passive and an active. So the Cloud Rune, advantage on Sleight of Hand and Deception checks, and this rune can be invoked to transfer an attack to another target. This is going to be the first one we pick. There is also the Fire Rune, which will give you expertise in Sleight of Hand checks, and this rune can be invoked to restrain and deal additional fire damage to a creature you hit with an attack using a weapon. This will be the second one we take. There's also the Frost Rune, advantage on animal handling and intimidation checks, and it can be invoked to increase your chance of succeeding on strength and constitution rolls. And then finally there is the Stone Rune, advantage on insight checks and dark vision, and this rune can be invoked to force a creature into a dreamy stupor. So as you can see, there are lots of awesome abilities here. Fighter level 4 brings our first feat, and for this we're going to be taking our strength from 16 to 18. Fighter level 5 brings an extra attack, so if we make an attack with our main action, we can follow up with one more. Level 6 we gain our second feat, and for this, maximising our strength up at 20. Level 7 brings a Runic Shield, so you can use reaction to force an attacker to reroll an attack roll made against one of your allies. We also pick up another rune, so here you can see we've got the Frost and the Stone we went over. There is now the Hill Rune, so advantage on saving throws against being poisoned and resistance against poison damage, and can be invoked to apply resistance against physical damage, and this is what we're taking. There's also the Storm Rune, so this will give you advantage on Arcana checks and immunity to being surprised, and can be invoked to apply advantage or disadvantage to rolls, which is huge. It's time to pick up our third feat at level 8, and for this we're going to come down the bottom and take Great Weapon Master. When we land a crit or kill a target with a melee weapon attack, we can make another one as a bonus action that turn. And we can take a -5 attack roll penalty for a solid 10 damage on our attack. Fighter level 9 brings Indomitable, so whenever we fail a saving throw, we can re-roll again using the new result. Fighter level 10 brings Great Stature. The magic of your runes has permanently altered your height. We also can pick up one more rune here, so we are going to take the Storm Rune for that advantage or disadvantage to rolls. Level 11 brings improved extra attack, so then we can make 2 additional attacks after attacking with our main hand weapon. And then our final level, level 12, brings our final feat, and for this one we are going to come all the way down here. And we're going to take Savage Attacker, so in making melee weapon attacks, we roll our damage dice twice and use the highest result. Let's go over our gear, and we start with the Helm of Baldur. It'll heal you for 2 hit points at the beginning of every turn, a +1 bonus to our armor class and saving throws. We cannot be stunned, and we cannot be critically hit. We're going to pair this to Cloak of Protection for a +1 to our armor class and saving throws. The Evasive Shoes for a +1 to acrobatics and armor class. The Adamantine Splint Armor, 18 armor class, reduce all incoming damage by 2. When a melee attack hits you, the attacker is sent reeling for 3 turns. If we check out reeling quick, recovering from receiving a terrible blow or hitting a strong metal has a -1 penalty to attack rolls for every turn remaining, which is huge. Now, alongside that, there is also disadvantage on stealth checks, and we can't be critically hit, but we already have that thanks to the Helm of Baldur. For gloves, we're going to take the Helldust gloves, the additional 1-6 fire damage on our weapons, the Caustic Band for 2 acid damage, the Ring of Regeneration. At the beginning of our turn, this will activate to heal for 1 to 4 hit points, so between this and the helmet, 1 to 6 hit points potentially every turn. And for a necklace, we're going to take the Amulet of Baal, which will inflict the bleeding on targets that have maximum hit points. Now, you can use the Sword of Chaos if you want to. I actually would have had that equipped during the character creator, as you would have seen, and I love that weapon. I will show you it just here. It is just absolutely phenomenal. It's so much damage, and on a hit you regain 1 to 6 hit points. However, Stefan, or how you say it, Stefan, the axe, also really good for this. Reason being is we can get a spiritual weapon. So we can invoke our runes, get a spiritual weapon to help us, and all sorts. And the spiritual weapon will also provide a bit more damage compared to the Sword of Chaos overall, because you'll get your attack and the spiritual weapons. So the choice is yours here, pick whichever one you prefer. The other good thing with this axe is the prepare action. So sacrifice 6 meter movement to deal 5 additional slashing damage with your melee weapon attack this turn. But you'll see here we've got Giant's Might to become bigger. Let's inscribe our runes. And you see we've got all of these, but the one we're going to inscribe first is the Fire Rune, as this will deal additional fire damage and allow us to restrain someone. So there we go, we have our rune inscribed, and when we get into combat we can also do our Giant's Might. So let's go find said combat and check this build out. Okay, we're in the combat, let's get this going. Let's come in here, and we'll do our Giant's Might. And there you go, you'll see we are now huge. So let's start swinging for fences. Now we're not going to invoke our Fire Rune, we're going to do it on the guy with the most health. Or not, because we missed. Let's try again. There we go, invoke our Fire Rune, and you'll see we did the 8 fire damage, but they did save from being attacked. Or sorry, not attacked, from being restrained. We can action surge though. You see we've got the bleeding on the enemy there. Take another big hit. And can we get up there? No, we can't. It is a shame. So what we'll do, we'll take out this enemy, and we'll take out this one. And then we'll start moving, if we have the reach, as close as we can this way. Now you'll see on our character, we still have Giant's Might going, and we would still have our bonus action, Great Weapon Master, if we hadn't have done our sort of Giant's Might Rage-esque thing. You'll see a nice big miss, but then the enemy did hit us. Okay, so once again it's back to our turn, and it just plays like a normal fighter. We just come around here, and we deal as much damage as possible. Let's land another attack on this, and you'll see we spread the bleed to as many people as possible. We've also got reeling on this enemy, and this enemy is bleeding. So, because the Barbarian's the big hitter, let's take another swipe here. And you'll have noticed we can only use 1 rune at a time. If we come to our inscribed, it is gone. So this time, what we can do is we could inscribe our Cloud. And this is what we can transfer an attack to another ally. You'll see the bleed there. And another big miss, followed by an attack. Now one of the things we can do with this build is we can reduce, thanks to our axe, the size of a creature. So if we reduce the Barbarian, they are now smaller, they also have less weapon damage, and dismounting on strength and other checks. Which means, if we wanted to, we have a much easier way of throwing them around. And of course, thanks to our axe, like I said, we have the ability where we can, when I see it, our spiritual weapon. So we can get this summoned, we'll throw it up here for now. And there we go, we now have our spiritual weapon ready to attack. And that means we can just come in here. And unfortunately we did have to move to cast it, but obviously we could now follow up with some big attacks. What we'll do is, thanks to our gloves, we'll just shoot out a little ray of fire, because why not? And there you go, we absolutely melted that enemy. You see the big sneak attack miss then.
Can't even catch my breath.
And at this point, we just come in here. We slice the enemies up. Just like that. And then we'll make our way over here if we can,
Press ahead.
ready to take out this enemy next. In fact, we actually have a bonus action, but we can't quite reach, that's a shame. And then our spirit weapon obviously can come in here with a big miss apparently. We'll hunt down this enemy over here while our spiritual weapon keeps the other one busy. And again, we can just come in here, huge damage output. And in fact, actually, we can make our way over here, ready to attack on the next round. And we also missed apparently, that's cool. Get the bleed, get the fire damage, and another big miss somehow. What we can do though, if we needed to with second wind, but we don't,
Ready.
we'll try again with the spiritual weapon. There we go, big crit with the 15.
Choice but to keep going.
And hopefully now we can finish this fight. So we come in here, and we'll land our big hits, just like that.
Looking ahead.
Now, you'll remember, you'll see we use one of our Giant Might, and 2 of our runes. If we short rest,
Come, laggards.
we don't get our Giant Might back or our runes. Now we're just long rested, and you'll see we get our Giant Might back and our runes. So it's not just like a one and done, you can respawn them. So really hope you have enjoyed the Rune Knight. I absolutely love the Rune Knight, especially on tabletop. I think it's just phenomenal. Great capabilities outside and inside of combat. So if you have, please drop the episode a like and go and check the mod out, it is awesome. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel as well. I've got more guides to Baldur's Gate, Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers, Path of Exile, Elden Ring, Dragon Age, Expedition 33, Oblivion, basically all the amazing RPGs you could ever need. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.